What's the biggest myth in marketing? I discovered it back in the fall of 2009. This short moment of truth would change my outlook on marketing and the entire course of my life. It happened when I was in New York City with a work colleague. Brad Basso and I were at a trendy hotel rooftop bar, one of those places where a bottle of beer is $18. By the way, is it possible to enjoy a beer that costs $18? We were having a beer while waiting to meet a few people before heading over to an evening networking event. I noticed an older gentleman sitting right across from us. He was by himself, and it became obvious that he was waiting for someone. Every few minutes, I'd watch him scan the entire rooftop bar. 30 minutes passed and no one showed up for him. Feeling bad, I decided to strike up a conversation. I leaned over and asked, "Hey, do you know we spend 10% of our life waiting?" I mean, have you heard that before? 10% of our life waiting. And then I told him it had to be true because I had once read it on the internet. We both laughed a little and began talking about etiquette. And I stressed the importance of being on time. My dad was fond of sharing legendary coach Vince Lombardi's stance on timeliness. Lombardi time is the idea of showing up 15 minutes ahead of the scheduled meeting time. Not on time, but 15 minutes early. If folks meeting with Coach Lombardi weren't 15 minutes early, Coach Lombardi considered them late. Right then, this guy shook his head and shared, "There's no such thing as being on time." In disbelief, I uttered, "Wait a second, I've been on time before." The older man raised his hand and began waving his pointing finger back and forth, just like the former NBA star Dikembe Mutombo. No, no, no. Then he doubled down and shared that being on time is a fallacy. He said no one is ever on time. In fact, he said on time is a myth. In life, you are either early or you're late. Now, this was a complete paradigm shift for me. That very night on the train home to Connecticut, I began thinking about how this fallacy applies to marketing and the concept of meeting customer expectations. In business, you either fall below expectations or you exceed them. There's no middle ground. It bears repeating. There is no such thing as meeting expectations. We live in a world where 60 to 80% of customers describe their customer satisfaction as satisfied or very satisfied right before they defect to other brands. Simply meeting expectations is no longer an option. I woke up the next morning and started thinking about companies that purposely set out to exceed the expectations of their customers. The Purple Goldfish Project and the quest to find 1,001 examples was born.